Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are now on our final match of the 1992 candidates uh, final between Anatoly Karpov and Nigel Short. Nigel had clinched in game 8, and so they played game 9, and it was another grueling 63 move game where Nigel returned to his Queen's Gambit accepted variation, and Anatoly with the white pieces responded with e4 and knight f6, and again these positions resembling an Alekhine's defense occurred on the board, and once again Anatoly was not able to score a victory. For some reason in game 7, Nigel had deviated from his Queen's Gambit accepted and played a Tartakower variation and actually lost um, his second game of the match there. So this time he learned from that and went right back to uh, you know what what was doing well for him. He had never lost with this, so he just basically went back to the well and was able to draw a tough game. So we're gonna just look at the last game, game 10. Short again had the white pieces, and Karpov the black pieces. And to me, this game typifies they basically the entire match, with Short always being able to control the flow of the games and get the positions that he enjoyed playing for the most part. These positions where a lot of pieces remained on the board, and there were tactical chances, melees on the board, and just not allowing Karpov to have these positions where he can use his experience, uh, to just outplay his opponent gradually, as he had did previously in Game 7, for instance, from a completely drawn position. So just the fact that you see Karpov playing the Sicilian defense here shows you that the truck has went off the rails. He had started out playing the Caro-Kann. That didn't work. Then he went to his Rui Lopez. That didn't work. Lost 2 games to the Howell variation, the Rui Lopez. So his repertoire against e4 was just shattered at this point, and so finally he turns to the Sicilian defense. This reminds me of the game 24 in the 1985 chess championship versus Kasparov. He needed a win, and so he turned to the Sicilian. So usually Karpov plays c5 when something is really gone wrong and he really just desperately needs a win. But this is not him, and this game showed. So knight f3, knight c6, d4, knight takes d4, knight f6, knight c3, d6, bishop g5. So we're going into this Richter-Rauser variation, and this is like right up Nigel Short's alley. Just straightforward attacking chess, opposite wing castling, and you're not gonna beat a guy like Nigel Short unless you're like the same type of player. And he even gave Kasparov trouble and probably missed some wins in several of his games with the white pieces against Kasparov. So Nigel is just attacking as usual. And again, Karpov is playing a position that he doesn't really, I don't want to say understand, but he doesn't play. So I guess I can say that he doesn't have the nuances, because that comes from experience and handling of the position. So for example, let's move b4. Right, he probably should have played bishop b7. Right, something like that. Just get the pieces. Keep going with the pieces. Bishop b7, and then follow up. excuse me, with rook c8. Say bishop b7, king b1, and rook c8 possibly, or even knight e5 with these old themes of coming here. So he gets aggressive with b4, and now knight a4, rook g8, f4, rook b8. Nigel just simply plays king b1, bishop f8 from Karpov, bishop e2, E5, F5, just simply sacrificing the pawn like it's no big deal. Because open lines are what are important right now, not the material. And now white is just better here. Even though he's down a pawn, it does not make a difference in this type of position. There's too many open lines for the rooks, the bishops, and black has too many weak squares. D5 is weak. Uh, the dark squares around the king are weak. The dark squares in the center, the A6 pawn, B5, D6, all these weaknesses compensate white fully for his pawn deficit, and of course the potential attack on the king. Queen F6, knight B6, knight E7, of course trying to guard F5, excuse me, the D5 square, getting rid of the bishop, snatching the pawn, and right here Karpov's just in a lot of trouble. Queen B6 attacking, and this short just carries a tremendous initiative. D5, knight C6 hitting the rook, rook D6, E takes D5, knight E7, queen takes B4, knight D5 from Karpov, rook takes D5, and now queen G7. This move was oversight by Karpov. Correct was rook takes D5 here, but it's counterintuitive because you allow the queen to come very close to the king with check and queen F8, but then black just. So after rook G8 hitting the queen, say queen E7, queen takes C6, queen takes F7. Again, would end in a draw after perpetual. And of course, Nigel had already clinched, but that was a resource that Karpov had at his disposal. Instead, rook D5 was played. So after queen G7, which was played, Nigel simply snatched the rook. Rook G1 check. And of course, this was the idea to take the queen, but Nigel realizes he has more than enough compensation. The 3 pieces and the 3 passed pawns for the queen. Queen G4, rook D8 check, king G7, A3, simply making room for the king so he doesn't get mated on the back rank, and preparing the advance of the pawns, of course. Queen takes F5, rook D1, H5. This is Karpov's only hope, is the hope that he can distract the white pieces by creating a threat to queen, make another queen. So rook E1, queen E6, bishop B7, F5, bishop D5, queen F6, C4 and E4, and then C5. So Nigel's just gonna push the pawns, of course, and here Karpov had enough and resigned. So all I can say is not great chess at all by Karpov, but Short did what he had to do. And again, as I said in the earlier presentations, that it just seemed like in this particular match that Short just had Karpov figured out. You know, it just he just had something for every opening, whether it was Carol Khan or Roy Lopez, and even the Sicilian. I mean, Short beat Karpov had 3 different defenses against his E4 pawn, and then Short destroyed Karpov with the black pieces, with the Queen's Gambit accepted. I mean, he won, I believe, 2 games, but he probably could have won at least 2 more. It was like Karpov had no. It was almost as if Karpov had no experience in the Queen's Gambit accepted, in the way he was playing. But nevertheless, Nigel would go on to play Garry Kasparov in 1993 in the and under the auspices of the PCA, as Nigel and Kasparov would break away from Fide who sanctioned this match, Karpov versus Short, and the rest is pretty much history. They PCA organization would last for about 3 years, and that would dismantle. And then there was talks to reunite the world championship and basically bring Kasparov and Short back into the Fide fold. Um, Shirov was given an opportunity at a title shot by by playing Vladimir Kramnik in '98. He defeated Kramnik and was never given a shot. Anand was actually given another chance, but turned down the offer. And um, due to the the circumstances and stuff, I don't really blame him. But yes, we could have had a Kasparov Anand 2 in the year 2000 had he accepted the match, but he declined. And then, of course, the match was sponsored by the Brain Games people, and then we saw Kramnik versus Kasparov, and the rest was history. So I hope you enjoyed this series. I hope you learned something also, and help your chess out. And all I can say is I will see you on the next match. Enjoy.